Okay guys, let's have a look at Oh Yeah from Trinity's Electric Guitar Grade 1 syllabus. I like this piece. There's nothing massively complicated as long as you're comfortable moving between your chords. You've got your technique right for your chords, so all of those notes sound, and you strum the right number of strings, you aren't going to have any trouble with this whatsoever. Okay, because it's really all chord orientated, we have to get this right. I've spoken about this before in other videos, but let's just mention it here. It's really important. When you are fretting a chord, you need to make sure, you see that? The position of my thumb on the back of the neck and the way it allows me to get like a C shape. I don't want to be pulling back like this and then blocking the top E string with part of my index or middle finger. I also don't want to be pushing forward with my wrist and bending it like this. Now, these lessons aren't really about me teaching you how to play guitar. It's about me teaching you how to play these pieces. So really, we'll have to do some other videos if we want to talk a lot more about technique. But just be aware of that. If you have your teacher, just make sure if you're getting muted notes, maybe you speak to them about that and get them to show you how to get that nice and precise. Okay, so really what we want to do is just talk about kind of having ergonomic movements. So how can we move most efficiently between our chords? So we've got E minor, okay, which you all know how to do this, just first and second finger on the second frets of the A and the D string. Leave the first finger down and bring the second finger over, and then either use the third or the fourth. Don't really care which one you use. I tend to use my fourth if I'm moving to D, because then my third finger is free. Right, rather than having to jump off and come over, I can then get to my D much more kind of smoothly, and I'm not cutting a note short at the very end of the previous chord. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's basically my rhythm and my three chords that I'm going to repeat for the beginning. And then for the verse, I'm literally just playing E minor. I'm going to do that 8 times. We'll talk about why it's 8 times in a minute if you're not quite sure. When you're going into line 3, you're then doing, so God bless your soul, girl. You'll see the lyrics are literally typed in italics in line 3. That's just an indication for you where you are in the track, because obviously you've got to play to the backing track. Don't play to the full mix in your exam. Play to the backing track if you're doing your video exam. Just make sure that's correct, because otherwise you'll be disqualified. Okay, and as you play, you're going to use those lyrics just to make sure you know you're in the right place. Okay, so you've got G for 4 beats, G for another 2 beats, 2 beats, and then falling into the A shape. You can see some of these chord boxes coming up on the side of the screen, and then you're just going to jump into the C. Now, when you go from C to E minor, you've got another pivot finger here. You can keep the middle finger down and just drop back into that E minor. Keep the pivot finger down to go from the E minor to the G. That's the first finger, and then back up to the D. Okay, pre-chorus, it's mezzo piano. Just make sure you drop to MP. The other dynamic markings, you start off with an F, which is forte. Then second line is mezzo forte. We'll just double check those at the end. Just do downstrokes for all of this, okay? Keep it nice and smooth. And then when you get to the chorus, it's forte. There's your rhythm, okay? When you go through to the coda, we'll come back to how you do that in a minute. But that final line, make sure you don't strum every string on that first chord. It's E5. And then strum every string. And the E minor chord there, you'll notice in the music, this is the final line, okay, bars 25 onwards. You'll see in the music that on that second bar of the final line, which is beat bar 26, you get 3 bars. I might just use a different colour just because we've used that a lot and it's kind of making it not right properly. There we go, that's better. You actually see 3 semi-breves, or we can call them whole notes. They last a whole 4/4 bar, and they are tied together. When you tie something together, you're joining it so you only strike the very first note, and then this will last all the way through. So you're actually going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so ba. Okay, ties are used when there's no other way to write a rhythm. So if you want a note length to last over a bar line, the only way you're going to be able to do that is to tie it. Ta-da! As we've done here. Or The other time you might use a tie. So let's say you've got a minim, and then you want to follow it with, let's say, 2 quavers, another quaver, 2 quavers, but you might want to join over the bar line, as we discussed. That would work like that. Or another thing you might have is you might have, for instance, a dotted crotchet followed by a quaver, okay, followed by another 2 quavers and a crotchet. Let's just say that would be that, right? Now, let's say you wanted to join these 2 together. You wanted it to be a crotchet. You couldn't do that because the crotchet is lasting over the beat. It wouldn't be a good way of writing it, because we want our notes and our beats to be written where the musician can clearly see where the beat falls and where the bar line is. So we'd put a tie here. So it's be ba 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 da dum. Sorry, da 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 dum. Okay, so that's where ties are used. Nothing complicated for you, though. You're only literally letting a chord ring for 3 beats. Okay. I'm not sure why I said it like that. Just a few things. Double checking. Right, there are repeat markings all the way through this piece. It's very important that we acknowledge them. If you get 2 dots at the beginning of, well, not at the beginning, but at the end of a section here, and none at the beginning, but that means that you go back to the beginning, you repeat that whole section, okay? If you get 2 dots at the beginning and the end of a section, that means you go back to where you see the previous 2 dots, like we see in the verse in line 2, and we also see that in lines 3 and 4. So you're going to repeat line 1 twice, you're going to repeat line 2 twice, you're going to repeat lines 3 and 4 together as one whole thing, so that's 8 bars twice, and then again the pre-chorus is repeated, and then in the chorus, although you're not necessarily doing something different, let's just quickly discuss it. I don't know why I rubbed that out really. You will get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5th bar. This one here is the double bar line, okay, this is thick, and we get over the top of the first time this with a first time, and then we get over the last bar a 2. Now what this means is you're going to play your E minor, then you get the D, then you get the C, and then you get another 2 minims here, right, of C, and you do the same here. Now you might think, well, hang on, why is there a second time bar? It's completely pointless. Also, what is a second time bar? It's the same chord. I'm not playing anything different. Well, there's different stuff happening on the actual recording. So there are other people playing other instruments the same song, so their arrangement may have a different part, so we have to acknowledge it by doing a second time bar. So what that means is, first time through, you're going to play these 4 bars, see the repeat marking, you're going to go back. Second time through, bye-bye, get rid of that one, and you jump over the top to the second time bar and play this one. You then see DC al coda in some of the other stuff. You'll see DS al coda, that will be discussed in those videos. DC al coda means go back to the very beginning of the piece. Okay, so you're going to go back to line 1, and then you will go to the coda when you see the words to coda and what looks like a gun target. Okay, so that's at the end of the first line, after the repeat. So you still do line 1 twice, and then you're going to jump to the coda, and the coda you will find, because it's literally got the target again and then the word coda after it, that's the last line of the piece. So you then jump there. Just one other thing I've noticed that might be worth mentioning, or definitely is worth mentioning, because I'll tell my own students to do it. The very last chord, the E minor chord, obviously you're going to see a load of stack notes, blah blah blah, blah like that in the music. There is a dot underneath them that indicates staccato. Staccato is where you cut a note short, okay, and then it's got a sideways V underneath it, which is basically a dynamic marking called an accent, which means hit it loud, okay, hit it hard. And you'll see that when we do the playthrough. So let's do that now.